Hey guys, welcome to Coaching with Chris. Excited today. I love talking with great originators across the country. This one's a little special to me because he's in Kansas City. I was born in Kansas City, kind of grew up a little bit, I would say, in the summers in Kansas City, and just absolutely killing it. Social media on point, team on point, overall top originator in the country. And he's doing it as a broker, which I think is probably something in its own elite league. And Derek, are you on here? There you are. Oops, you're muted. Now I got you.
Crap. 1 sec.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds here.
You're good.
There, you say something again? Is it on?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, beautiful. Sorry about that. Jeez, Louise.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Look, this is how us originators roll. We're juggling things. We're fixing things. I told all my originators this week, we need to track how many things we fix in a week. If we're not fixing enough, we need more business. If we're fixing too much, something's off in our team. And I can't be too far off on that. So I'm going to come up with the fixer tracker so that we can measure our fixes. But Derek, Kansas City, did you grow up? Were you raised there? Were you been there your whole life? Like, kind of give me the story of your life and how you got into this crazy world of mortgages.
Yeah. So like many, I don't think any of us grew up thinking we'd be just a mortgage pro. But we all somehow, some way found ourselves here. From Kansas City, yes. I played baseball through the years. I'm a big sports guy. So that took me to some different places, different cities, different relationships, that along the way. So I feel like that's a big foundation of me, just a big team player type thing. I'm big on that team aspect, which I think sports in general and business, there's a lot of parallels there. And one of those where it's like, if you work hard on something, you can get a reward from it. And I think from a young age, that kind of was instilled in me that the more you put into something, the more you get out. And I just was looking for a platform, I guess. So once the old baseball career dwindled down, I played through college, played a year and a half minor league, and then had to get a real job. That brought me kind of full circle back to Kansas City. That was home base for me. And I knew some other guys jumping into the mortgage world. I'm like, well, I like numbers. I like talking to people. And hey, you're telling me I could work from wherever I want to work from as long as I have my laptop and Wi-Fi. Like I'm in on that deal. That seems kind of cool. And looking back, they jumped back into what they were doing before. They went back to like car sales or whatever. And then I'm still here just figuring it out day by day, year by year in the mortgage world.
So did you start in mortgage right in 2016-ish, or when did you start? Just to kind of give it like a time frame of how long you've been doing it.
So 2016. 2016. I jumped on to the mortgage place in town that was hiring newbies because I feel like back then it was more of a normal market, and it wasn't like now people are just letting people go. But just popped in the place that was hiring. Didn't know an FHA from a VA from the next loan, and they put me on a 580 to 620 credit score FHA team. Looking back, I'm like thankful for it, but I didn't know what the heck I was signing up for at the time. They're like, hey, we need some more people to deal with fixing problems, kind of like you're saying. And so kind of like grinding my teeth there and figuring it out. So just 2016. Then you know how it goes. Like you do something okay here, an opportunity opens up, and just kind of grab the next one next door that opens, kind of makes sense, go for it. And quite a bit of shuffling around from there.
Sure. What are you averaging right now in closings a month?
Last month we did 36 closings. It's grateful for it. It's definitely not where we want to be either, but it's one of those. It's never going to be enough kind of thing. But I think
I have that terrible disease myself.
Hey, that's why you are where you are. I mean, yeah, you're
so
right.
36. You got 30. You're doing 36 closings, and what does a team look like? Because Derek, here's what happens: originator that wants like that next step. And like getting to that next step or getting to 30 loans a month, it's a big step. And I'm sure it didn't just grow in. And so let's like back this in to be able to help originators across the country be able to kind of like step through Derek's journey of you built this team because obviously you can't close 36 loans yourself. And like walk me through the journey of building this team. And then today, ending with today, what does the team look like to be able to provide that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So, I mean, if we flash back like 3 years, that's I think was a big pivotal moment there. I was on primarily the retail consumer direct side of things from 2016 through 2021, and for me, well, I think we all know during the COVID years. Certainly, they kind of put things to the test on bandwidth. I mean, I think we could all look back and certainly say that, great years, a lot of business done for everybody. But then I also look back and like, I missed a lot of business too. There was so much I couldn't get to. I know that. And I felt like the first few years of my career, I tried to focus so much on the customer experience. Like I want these people to come back, say, like we all do, say a good word about me at the cookout or holidays. And then I would go to market these people, and there's a little bit of that while we're still getting new leads coming in from consumer direct. And I'm like, this is just I don't have a system. I'm just trying to grab what's falling out of the sky, and there's so much falling on the ground. So that's where I'm like, all right, I need to take a step back here and reevaluate. So, I mean, during COVID years, we was doing like 130, 140 million a year by myself. And I was like, this also isn't sustainable. This also is not I can't, right. I'm going to just run this into the ground. Healthy. Yeah, it was not a healthy time at all. It was just, I was known for having a laptop wherever I was, whatever I was doing. I was on the phone or laptop nonstop, which don't mind working. That was a little overkill. So, all right, let's do this better. It's better for the consumer. It's more sustainable. So I could do this for a while. So I, shuffled around. I did, I found Cordis and NEXA in beginning of 2022. So been there a little over 3 years. So that's where it certainly, in the broker world, I kind of just dove headfirst into the wholesale broker channel, where I think at that point I had an idea. Certainly, I mean, I'm still figuring out exactly what I want every, day to day, what's the next piece, but it just opened up like the entrepreneurial mindset. Where I'm like, okay, if I have this problem, I can go solve it today. I could go start working on it today and implement it and try to fix it. So I started off with one LOA, a loan officer assistant, back in 2022. And it was kind of like just tag teaming things. And then it got to where, okay, we're both pretty busy. Let's get the next one. Okay. And that started kind of growing as, volume, because the more time I get, I'm like, I'm just going to reallocate that back to let's go get more deals and more relationships and follow up with our clients, just pour it on them. And it's kind of just been the formula of give me some bandwidth. I'm going to go reassign that right back to driving in more deals, which is the whole leverage thing of any business. But just kind of starting from a small level and having it grow. So each year was a little better. Then it got to the point where, like, man, we have a handful of people that are doing kind of everything. Kind of some, like, if I can grab the phones, I'm grabbing the phones. If you got it, you got it. Or, hey, this app's in. Like, it was just a bunch of it. When it was just one or two or three of us, it was okay. But when it got to be like me plus 5 people, we're kind of stepping over who's got this next app, who's up next. It was like, all right, we need some order in the court of how we're doing this. My wife, Tal, certainly helped big time on that, because I think she could kind of see it from a bird's eye view of being in the business. But, I think coming in with a fresh look was a helpful thing. Like, I've been ingrained in this for quite a few years now, and I think I see it one way, and somebody else comes in with a fresh mindset and like, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it like this? I'm like, right. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Because like a little bit of chaos going on here. I'm like, you know what? That's kind of how I feel. You're like, yeah, that's a good point. So it's like, we just like find the people that are good at, taking the applications, have them take the applications. Find the people that are better at structuring the file, have them structure the file. Like, oh, like the right seats on the bus type deal. So we kind of split it to where then people are getting more reps at what they like doing and what they're better at on the front end, the application side, and then others that are a little more seasoned in the industry that they're building and structuring the files, and I kind of will jump in as I'm needed, and when I'm not needed, I'll go out and get more deals. So that was kind of the flow for a while there, and then we've evolved it to where it's always like, what's the next pain point? And certainly, well, heck, I mean, you've obviously built a very good business, and I'm sure you see like the things you were thinking about on year 1 or 2 or 3 are totally different on year 7, 8, 9. It's just different struggles, different things as you build it on up. So certainly in that moment, it's like that was all I could think of is let's just get the immediate stuff off my plate. And then it was like, okay, cool, that's kind of handled. But then, oh shoot, there's fires. Inevitably, things happen. Plans change during a mortgage process, and who's going to talk to them? Who's going to solve the problem? And that's where I'm like, man, now like a lot of the things are handled, but now I'm just jumping to fires, like, because there's just more volume. If you get 30, 40 loans in the pipeline, there are going to be some fires. As much as you try to do it right or whatever, things happen. Life happens, plans change with people, and so that's where we kind of evolved it up. Where we've been kind of grooming like even a manager role to like, all right, you help put out the fires, so I get that extra layers, like, but keep building it up from there. So.
Do you separate out then your LOAs by they're managing each so many leads a piece, and they take the file to close and work with the processor, or do they do different parts of the process so that then it goes to the processor? Like, how's your structure to these LOAs?
Yeah. So in the earlier stages of it, this is 2 years ago, 2, 3 years ago, I had it where they kind of did all of it all the way through. I thought that made total sense in my head. And at that time, I think it did. But then people started getting kind of stretched thin on that a bit. And it was very hard to hire because you had to hire like a unicorn that could do all those things.
Right.
They're good on the phone. They can sell to people, but they're also structured and dialed in because they can structure it. They know what documents to get. They're good at putting out fires. And I'm like, I mean, sure, we all would love a billion of those people, but that's tough. Or, hey, you do the front end. You take the application. You're good at overcoming objections. I'm going to pour into you and give you tips and tricks. So this is how we overcome objections. Hey, the pre-approval specialist, the back end of our team. Hey, you've been in this for a while. Some of them have like a processing background. Like, how to structure a file. You know what documents are needed. Still be personable, but you don't have to do as much of the hardcore sales. That's kind of done up front for you. Like, our marketing's warming them up. The front, our application folks, convert them. You just sit in this little eye of the storm and collect the docs, make sure the files are dialed in. And then we did for the processing side, because I also kind of need our pre-approval specialist with capacity just to get the next, because we're firing new applications into them each day. Where we have a pipeline manager on the back end where his job is to kind of be the glue in between. Once they go under contract to close, let our processors process. Because I certainly noticed that was a growing pain for us where, we have 2 and kind of a third processor that's plug in, the 2 that just kind of are dedicated to us full on. But then, they're each closing 18, 20, 25 loans a month sometimes. That keeps them pretty busy, keeps one processor pretty busy when they're somewhat customer facing. And then clients have questions. They call the processor because that's kind of where we try to direct traffic. Well, then that processor can't process all the whole rest of the pipeline while they're on that call. Right. Operations is shut down. So I'm like, I need somebody. It can't be me for everything. Like, I don't mind hopping into the stuff I need to hop into, but I need a person. So that's where we graduated one of our LOAs up to, hey, you've got you're the glue in between. Try to be the buffer so the processors can process. You can help walk through some of the questions on it. And it's just the next little piece to place together.
Oh, that's cool. So you have how many LOAs and how many processors today?
Yeah. So we have 2 on the 2 application specialists, 6 pre-approval specialists, and then 2 to 3 processors. Have a plug-in third processor.
Sure. Big team. They in the office, or are they all remote, or how does the team structure? So, like, how do you stay all connected? That has to be, I mean, you got a big team, you got a big engine, a lot of moving parts. I'm assuming lots of leads. How is the office structure?
Yeah. So we are fully remote. I'm physically, kind of split time between Kansas City and Arizona, but, so we have, 2 LOAs in Kansas City. They still work remote. We started it that way. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I could find so much better talent if I just widen the search. And I'm not confined to just whatever city it is. I'm not confined to one area.
Yeah.
So widen the scope there. We've been able to hire from coast to coast. It gives good coverage to different time zones, so we can stagger the coverage throughout the day. That's been kind of a little built-in benefit to it. Then there's pros and cons. That's the benefit. The other side is the office environment. Like, how do you replicate that? Because I certainly felt like when I was in the office back in the days, I learned so much just by overhearing, like just the chatter and, oh wow, they said that on the phone. That was good. I never thought of that. Like, I should make that my own. And so we've tried to replicate that, where honestly our day looks something like this, where we all have we use Slack, and we're all on an ongoing team call throughout the day, where everybody's kind of muted doing their thing, which would be kind of the equivalent of shutting their office door, making their call, whatever. But the second we need something, just shoot a message and they unmute themselves or just holler at them. So we have really quick interactions there. We've certainly tried it because I know sometimes that's a whole lot to try to explain to an oncoming LOA, like, hey, you're going to be on a camera call kind of throughout the day. Yeah, I know. It's different. I get it. Some are like, what the heck? I did a coaching thing a while back with a group of LOs, and they recorded the whole hour segment. It was me going through a CRM. So I used that to explain to my LOAs, like, this is what it is here. You can just see it for yourself. It's not funky. I don't have time to sit there and watch what you're doing all day long. I trust you. You've got all the resources. You know what you're doing. But I promise, when you need something, you're going to be happy that there's a whole lot of help right there on the call, readily available. And we tried it in the past where everybody kind of was able to be off of the call, but then a client calls in and somebody's on the phone, whatever, somebody grabs it. It was clunky. It was a mess. Like, is the other person available? I can't tell. Very convenient when you can just look at the screen and see, oh, they are on a phone call. Like, hey, let me help you out. The better for the client experience, but at the end of the day, that's above everything else. So yeah,
I can see that. So 30, 35 closings a month. What's your lead goal? Like, do you look at how many leads do you need a month to be able to continue to consistently close that? And do you work together to being able to generate these leads as a group? Do you take that burden yourself? Like, what does it look? What's the lead goal, and what's your structure in making sure that you hit these leads?
Yeah. So I know that if I get a dozen leads a day, I'm doing good. That's my thing. I mean, 80% it's self-generated. I buy a couple online leads just I want to be able to give some referrals back to our realtors. Yeah. So that gives us a couple leads a day there, but the rest, I know I need to get about 10 of my own a day, and then we're doing good. I mean, I think and we've been able to kind of stay in that level there, every business day. Then as far as the big piece to that is how to make sure I'm doing that. And I've had to get really particular with my time, like anybody does. I'm sure you have your day mapped and this is how it is. And more or less, it kind of has to follow that. So I've had to learn to say no a lot more, which is tough. Not naturally how I want to do it, but I've learned like it's the only way to sustainably do it. I have a time block on my calendar where this is my outbound lead generation time. I put 2-hour blocks. I have to at least hit one of them throughout the day. I have to. It doesn't matter what's going on. The world could be on fire. I got to make my calls. I need to check in with my realtors. I need to check in with clients after closing. Those are my big things. But I want to make sure I'm talking to my realtors each month. The ones that send us business, I want to make sure they're not forgotten about. I want them to hear from me. That's something I don't want to delegate. I think that's not fair to them at all.
Right.
They're trusting me with their baby. I need to have the respect to make sure I always have time to call them. And a lot of those you could just discover, transactions will go by. You think it all went smooth from your point of view. Hey, it was all great. And there was one silly, I had a call last week with a good realtor of ours that, we do a good amount of business with. He's usually seems good. And I could tell something was just off. I'm like, he's usually all bubbly and he was just a little bit dimmer. And I'm like, hey, Mark, what's up, man? Everything good? well, the last closing, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. Oh, what's up? The funding on the closing, one of the documents was sent in fuzzy to the funding department, and they kicked back to his title company to say, get it a cleaner copy. And that delayed closing a few minutes. And he just didn't like that. I'm so sorry about the fuzzy document. Let me know next time, dude. I had no idea that was even a problem. I had no idea that was like a lingering thing in the back of your mind. Like, hey, how about I call your title lady and just let her feel heard that, hey, I got you. I'm sorry that the funding department didn't like the document, whatever. But it's, to me, maybe it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it was. To him, that's what mattered.
Right.
So I think you discover that and not like brush it aside and have my regular calls and just get us back on the right track. There's so many lines that can be crossed.
How many realtors? Well, let me go back. How many markets are you working? Are you working Scottsdale and or Phoenix, whatever that area, and Kansas City? Are you working multiple areas, or do you concentrate more in one area than another? At 36 closings, obviously you've got a bigger net, and that's one thing I appreciate about you is that you do sweep a big net, but you actually work the net. And so, where do you concentrate for market rate wise?
Yeah. So we've hit Kansas City hard the last few years. Definitely, I can tell it's kind of cool to see where, 3-4 years ago, we've been making calls and like, who the heck is McGowan Mortgages? Who are you? Like, quick, hang up. Yeah, I don't nothing to do with it. Like, plenty of lenders calling me. And a lot of those conversations have kind of shifted to like, oh yeah, I saw your stuff, saw your video, saw your whatever. Yeah, it's cool. Okay. They'll give you the time of day. So we, put a lot of emphasis on that. Obviously, that's my hometown. Then, from there, we've definitely tried to branch out. So we've tried to tap in a little bit to the Phoenix market. St. Louis is right next door. So that's close enough where like, that's a whole nother market that we haven't tapped into. So the last year, we've been putting a lot of focus on St. Louis. I've had a couple of LOAs that are in they're near Destin or Navarre, Florida, in the Panhandle. So even just having like boots on the ground, I was like, hey, that's an easy conversation because I understand agents want to feel connected and that there's somebody local there. I'm like, hey, I've got people there. Like we're coast to coast, but like we have an emphasis in your town. And some of it's been trying to find markets that I can tell they haven't seen what we have to offer on the broker side. I'm like, okay, that's where it started to click a little. So there's certain little markets I've found that like, okay, in talking to some of the realtors, some of them are just naturally off of the deals, like that we just have happened to get people reaching out from online, social media, whatnot, and just latching onto that realtor and building a relationship because, hey, I've got an opportunity. It's wild how much they actually pick up the phone when you have a deal of theirs, of course.
Right.
Like they have something to talk about and using that platform to just then sprinkle in our stuff of what we do and how we do it different. And after hearing that from a few agents in different cities, I'm like, oh, they have no idea. This is like foreign language. Some of the stuff we could do on the broker channel, I need to start focusing here. So we've been trying to do that more and more now.
I'm a new LO 3 or 4 years in, and now I'm going to hire my first hire. You went through this. I can tell. You know what I mean? You and I both learn through mistakes. We learn through hiring right, hiring wrong. You're like, oop, got it. What advice would you give this originator that's starting to build a team?
Yeah. So I feel like I definitely had quite a few similar conversations with LOs. They're like, yeah, what's my first step? What's my first piece to this whole puzzle? Because again, I'm like, a couple of years ago, I had one, and it was just necessity. We needed the next. We literally have a new LOA this morning. So we're literally actively, they're still trying to grow with it. So I think the biggest one, like now it's not as stressful because I can see the reward. Yep, I'm picking up an extra salary, but it's going to unlock me for this much more revenue. And that's a win. That's an easy trade-off.
Good advice, by the way. The more you hire, the more you've made.
100%. If you do it halfway, okay. If you kind of, do it halfway right and give them some things, that's the whole, like there should be kind of a quota on that person to bring in, I got this person, that should bring me 5 closings this month, that type of idea. And obviously that should warrant more than warrant the salary. But I think the big thing is just that initial cost. I feel like for a lot of LOs that, they're not accustomed to having to pay anybody. So for that, like if you can find, I feel like if you can find a good virtual assistant, that's the easy first middle ground.
Very nice.
There's a lot of a lot of tasks that, think of myself included, all the closings that people have had over the years that they just don't ever follow up with. They don't ever call them. You could give a decent script, give a little bit of training to a virtual assistant at a very affordable price. And it's great to them. Like they're grateful. It's good money and, to them. And they could call those people. They could follow up. They could help you with your emails. Sure, you got to do a lot of the heavy lifting, but still, I think for the very first step, if you didn't have to do a lot of just the little tasks that none of us want to do but have to be done, cleaning the inbox, quick responses to some of the basic text messages, whatever it might be, following up with past clients, I think that's the easy one. Start to get some traction and then maybe go for the actual LOA.
Josh asked a question in the chat that said, what is the role and what should it be doing talking about LOAs? And I'm going to simplify this question for you a little bit. Mm-hmm. Top two job duties that the very first LOA should do. So number one, you already said it, follow up, to be able to assist and help you in follow up. What would be the second one? Do you think that would be a great job duty for a beginning LO hiring their first LOA?
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, you mentioned the follow up just on like past clients, that type of deal. And I mean, I guess depending on the lead flow, I don't ever want a phone call to go to voicemail. Like I hate that. That because you're losing. I can think of so many times we've tried to send referrals to realtors, and it's crazy that if you're not actively doing a deal with them, we've had times we call 8, 9, 10 realtors. We're like, guys, what's going? I've got business money on the line trying to hand it to you. And okay, yeah, we'll go to the next one. We'll go to the next one. Who's going to pick up? I don't ever want like that to be us. I think you just never know.
So do you have a team phone to solve that problem, or how do you do that? Because you couldn't use your personal phone.
Right. I had to get that up a while back. Yeah. I had to just direct everything to the team line. I literally got a text message overnight from a referral to my personal phone, which is cool. And I let them know, hey, thanks so much. By the way, I'm going to message you back on my team office line in just a second from this number. And that way I sent them a text. I threw them in our CRM, and that way they probably are responding right now, and the team can handle it from there. I got them in our ecosystem, and they can, I'll circle back around in a bit and make sure it was handled. But, that way it gets it on the team's radar because that pings everybody when that person responds back. So it's kind of throwing it over to that side of the lines is what we have now. Same thing with the team phone as well, where, if you're on a call, you're doing whatever it is, if somebody's calling in, that LOA could answer that phone.
Someone else can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all on their computer then so they can see, or is it someone physically having a phone?
Yeah, so it's on the computer, but also for example, I use Ring Central. There's a lot of different phone apps, but you just download the app. So it's on your phone. It's on their everybody from my team just uses their actual phone. It's just, if it's ringing on my phone, it's ringing on theirs as well. And we even kind of staggered it now to where it rings to them first and then it hits me. So usually I got that buffer.
I'm going to get asked because you've mentioned it a couple of times, and you work for a amazing company with amazing leadership. Are you using your own CRM? Are you using the company CRM? Like, what are you using to work to be able to manage this super engine?
Yeah, I think every LO, if you're taking it seriously, you should have your own CRM. I think just in the event, and Cordis would say the same thing at that. I think you should have your book of business. I think there's just too many times people have, things happen, whatnot, and really you got to protect. That's your lifeline. That's your everything in this business. Plus, I like being able to have the flexibility to make it how we want to make it. So I've tried different CRMs. Big and small, and Salesforce, and that was, way more than I needed. Because like the golden rule, like people use the CRM you're going to use is the one. Like that's the one to use. Like however, if an Excel sheet works for you, that's better than nothing. At least you have something to track. I personally, we use Monday.com. That's to me, which some people in the mortgage industry have now started using it a little. We've kind of thrown that out a little bit. I think it's not a mortgage specific CRM. So I think it gets kind of overlooked, but it's the best, simplest task organizer that I've come across. it's like a very, very graduated Excel sheet with a lot more functions and color coded and automations. It's just very simple. Then I pair that with Bonzo for outbound text and emails. So they talk to one another. So we change the status, whatever. But it's simple. I like it to where if I have an idea, Tal, my wife has an idea, somebody on the team has a good idea. Hey, Derek, I think it should do this. We could just go do it. I don't have to set up a call with like the web develop, whatever. I don't want to wait 2 weeks to do it. I want to do it now. Like so it's simple.
So it's connected to your LOS. And then on the other side, it's connected to Bonzo.
Correct. So one thing moves, they all move. Yeah.
But the information it's grabbing out of the LOS first, or I think this is important to understand for a lot of LOs of how you're doing it. Are you starting out in the CRM first, then moving to the LOS, or are you starting in the LOS and then moving to the CRM?
CRM first.
Yes.
CRM first. Because I want to follow some people. It's not always just a one call close. They're filling out an application. A lot of people, they want to have a conversation with somebody. They want to make sure they want to apply with this place. Maybe they saw something that got them, to us. That's my job, is to grab the attention and get them to us. But then a lot of times I feel like you have to kind of warm them up. They want to have a conversation to feel comfortable. If we're waiting to put them into the LOS, that's once you have an application. And I'm big on us pre-application following up. Like, I don't know, there's stats on like sometimes you got to call people 5, 6, 7, 8 times, follow up before they actually apply. And I think a lot of LOs, they call a time or two and they don't have a follow-up system. If they have issues with that, like, then things slip through the cracks. So I'm big on making sure right into the CRM.
So what's the general rules? A new lead comes in, has to be contacted how soon?
Right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
There's not even like 2 minutes, 5 minutes. It's instant.
Yeah. The only excuse is if you're already on the phone with the lead and everybody happens to be on the phone with the lead, I guess, but I'm jumping in. Like, we got to call it right away. Like, respond to them. Get
immediate response.
Yeah. Like every second, every minute's wasting time, money, opportunity.
What's ideal to be able to get to app? Like, what's the percentage you want in leading your company from lead to app percentage, or time from lead to app? Do you look at it like that? I don't want to lead you into the question. I just want to understand how you think in being able to get it to an application.
Yeah, no, 100%. So if it's self-generated, I expect 50% plus, because they're already warmed up, they're handed over. We built the relationship with the realtor. Why would they not? They're reaching out. They know why they're reaching out, like why they're getting the online leads, which is like a 15, 20% of the business. Those, if we're getting 25%, that's solid. If we're getting 25% applications, that's pretty solid. Close about half of those is kind of the gist of it there. But yeah, no, so I kind of separate it 2 different buckets. The organic referrals, obviously much warmer, but those at least 50%.
Brad asked a question, how many times should I follow up with a client? I feel like I follow up too much. I'm like, if you got a restraining order, yep, you did too much. But short of a restraining order, I don't think you could follow up enough. But what's your thought process? Do you have a number that you kind of lead the team in follow up on a lead to try to move them along?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something, just to preface, like, I think that's something we can easily get in our own heads about too much, because if we do have a CRM, we do have like a regimented list, and we can see how many times we called them. Yes, we might see, oh man, this is the 7th time I called them, whatever. They don't have that. I think sometimes you got to put yourself in their shoes. They don't know. They don't. This person's called a few times. They're not writing down every time and date you called them. So again, like you said, unless you're getting a restraining order, you're sky's the limit. The way I do it with the team. First 3 days, they call twice a day. So the first one immediately, and then switch the times up. People work. People have different schedules, different routines. So
find the time.
Yeah. So if that lead came in overnight, whatever it might be, we'll call them right away, first thing, and then call them, kind of towards the end of the work shift, 4 or 5 o'clock. And so you just never know. I don't want to assume anything, but there's a good chance if they weren't available then, they're probably off work now. And then same thing tomorrow. Let's mix it up, call them twice. And then the third day. And then I go 1-1-1, and then I push them out a week because I feel like the competition kind of falls off. Like a lot of people are bursting out of the gates, and then if they reached out to multiple lenders, which people do that sometimes, those lenders will hound them the first couple of days, and then they go on to the next thing to hound. And I'm like, I'm going to slip back in a week later, and hey, I'm back. That's also picked up some deals where we're the last one calling them. Yeah, and then if there's some light there,
great takeaway.
Yeah, everybody. And again, the big focal points right away, right out of the gates. But then I think the next trick is be the last one.
Yeah, let's switch to social media. I mean, you've done a phenomenal job with your social media. Where do you feel like the turning point was where it started to actually generate leads for you? Or what did you do that you're like, oh, I made this shift, it worked, that an originator could go back today and go implement that could help them in their business today?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and you've done a great job. I feel like I've gotten to know you from your social media, and
you noticed that I was just a big goofball.
Hey, that works. That's awesome. It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. It catches my attention every time. Like, well, what's Chris up to in the office? He's like shooting people with water guns today, or balloons, or what? Yeah. Great. It's awesome. But that shows like the culture that you guys have. Like, people that don't know anything otherwise. They like, oh wow, they can put their finger on it. Like that's the culture just from the little short clips along the way. So no, that stuff's awesome to see. That kind of is the whole point. Like people get to know you before they actually know you type deal. Get a little input. What's your your personality like? How do you interact? Hey, if I were from our viewpoint, like, hey, if I were to reach out to Derek, how is he? Is he kind of a jerk and kind of standoffish, or is he seems okay? He seems like a pretty mild man, whatever. People, at least I think you'll attract your right people. Some people just, that's not my cup of tea. They don't want to work. Okay, that's cool. And at least they know who I am. But then also people kind of get to know me. And I certainly feel like what a lot of LOs, because I've had quite a few LOs that have asked about the social media piece. And I think, again, kind of being like the last one standing, that kind of mentality, it takes a while. I don't want to even look at my initial videos that I did a couple of years back. They suck. I don't want to. Like hopefully Facebook deletes those or something. But they were something. They started somewhere. We just picked up a phone and started figuring it out of what works. And I know my wife always give me crap because like the first few videos were probably 3 to 5 minutes long. I thought that was important. I thought people wanted to hear that. I thought this is great information, babe. They're all going to love this. And like, nobody's watching it. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I got to switch. I got to like compress this thing. So now it's just, get it out. We didn't know. It's compressing it down. I think that's the thing. It's like anything that you do in life, really, but certainly in business, like you could get ideas. You could listen to podcasts like this. You could go read online. What do people do for social media? What do you do? And then it's all different when you actually just do it. I think it's like, that's where you learn. You learn what works for you. Like you're a lot funnier guy than I am, and you crush it at that. And, that people will gravitate and they're bam, 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 they're on it. So everybody finds their groove of what works. But I think it's just knowing that like the first 6 months or year, just go in with the expectation that you're not going to get anything out of it yet. And that's okay. Like, hopefully you probably will. You probably actually will. But just go in with the expectation, hey, I'm just doing this. I'm going to get better though every day. I'm not going to stop. And then I feel like it was kind of in that second year where the phone started ringing from random places, and the team is like, we just got a lead from TikTok from New Hampshire. Do you know anybody? Or whatever, Wisconsin, like whatever it might be. I'm like, I don't have family there. I don't think that's like a distant cousin. Like, okay, cool. Like, no, they just saw your video on DSCR, whatever it was. Oh, wow. Okay. That was from like months ago. Why? And that's where it started to click. I'm like, oh, wow.
You know what I love about is your picture of the houses that are in contract from the weekend. Literally one of my favorites.
Cool. Thank you. Tao came up with that, honestly. She was like, hey, realtors kind of do that part of it. And we're like, well, we're helping finance the house. And that's like, some of them are cool houses, but also like that's showing people what's going on. And I think, any kind of activity attracts other activity, really. Showing that there's things happening. We are doing these things. Think put people at ease that, we know our way around alone kind of deal. But yeah, it's just something to be different, I guess. That's also, I think, the fresh look the fresh idea type thing. I think we get so ingrained in the mortgage world of this is how everybody else does it. This is the only that we're confined. Where she's like, realtors are doing this stuff. Why don't we do this? Crap, that's a great idea. We should start doing that.
I mean, you look like the expert because you see all these multiple homes, and you're like, this is where a lot of people are going. I should probably go there. That's what I feel like when I see that every time, and it's consistent. You're very good at staying consistent with your social media, but then you'll educate. How do you pick your topics to continue to educate? Is it something that happened with a customer that you educated, or do you have a team that helps you put it together, or do you put it together? How does that come about?
Yeah, no, good question. So I do kind of come up with most of them. I've tried to be, not that it's easy or anything like that. I have a notepad always next to me where when things happen throughout the day or some event or some report comes out that changes the market, I kind of wanted, I know I've talked to some people or even some coaches that are like, okay, on Mondays you do this, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, this type of topic. And that's cool. I honestly tried that and I went right back to like free flowing with it. Like wherever it takes me, we'll do whatever we'll do. I don't want it to be the same type of thing every day by any means. Some educational, some like, hey, this is this example that happened with somebody, with a client. Because I think stories sell. And stories make people like they can resemble that. They can see themselves in that situation. Or I'm kind of in a similar rut, and oh my gosh, they were able to help that person out. Okay, that's cool. Well, I might reach out to them, and it kind of encourages people to.
For sure.
And I think what pinged with me was I remember talking to a close realtor of ours a couple of years back. He's like, one thing I like about your team is they don't give up on the client. They don't throw them away. Like so many lenders, they're for the low hanging fruit. And if the client's approved today, of course everybody's going to jump on that. But the ones that need a little help, and they're like, you guys had a client, you didn't even know it, but you had a client that you worked with where before, like I had to talk them up. I had to talk you guys up to get them to even want to reach out because they said that they couldn't buy a house. They already knew they couldn't qualify. And the realtor's like, why you haven't even talked to the lender yet? How do you know that? Oh, well, 6 years ago, I talked to a lender and they turned me down. So I can't buy a house. And he's like, well, 6 years ago, like you were working at a whole different job 6 years ago. You probably saved a few dollars in the last 6 years. Like your credit's probably totally like different. But I'm like, wow, that's some of the basic stuff that we can think way above and beyond, and just pulling it back down to earth. It's like, wow, that's what people think. And that's in their head. Somebody told them no a while back and they're not going to go buy. They just take themselves out of the market permanently. So that's where some of once I heard that, like, I need to mix in some real life kind of examples. Like, hey, we were able to help this client that was going through this, holler if that's something that we can help you with kind of deal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
2 questions left. I'll let you go. I know you got a busy day. Number one is that how many social media posts do you try to do in a week? Do you have a number or do you just have a feel?
A number with a feel. The goal is to try to do a video every business day. Some weeks I do that. Some weeks, this week, I have not done that yet.
Okay.
But if I get at least 3 to 5 videos out in a week, that's good. With mixing in the under contract post, I know that'll be a day or two. We'll lump together some contracts that came through. And then we try to be better at, really kind of branding some of the loan products we have too. And that's kind of the newer thing we're trying to do where I think some of like you guys have your fast pass. That's catchy. That's good. I remember that. Like, that's easy. I'm like, there's so many products and things that we have amongst the wholesale world where I'm like, clients don't know these things exist. So I try to be better at how can we package that up, make it easy to understand, and have that be a post every week or so as well.
Yeah, we have all this mortgage terminology, right? But when we take that loan and we call it a name, that's what the consumer remembers. So I've had like over the years 4 different products be called the dream loan.
Yeah.
And the client calls you and they'll be like, "Can I have the dream loan, please?" "Oh, I don't know. Let's see if you qualify or if it's the right loan for you." "Yeah, I just want the dream loan." And they didn't have to know all the terminology. They just had to know dream loan. And it freaking works. I mean, you like inspire me just by saying that again. Like, yeah, Chris, idiot, remember the dream loan? That was really good. Next question was AI. Are you using any AI to support your team and save you time?
Yes, and I know you're pretty, from what I gathered, what I understand, you're pretty, cutting edge or try to be at the
I'm
forefront.
learning. I'm an old guy trying to learn this stuff. Yeah, I'm
It's a
learning.
whole different thing hitting our industry, every industry, but certainly the old mortgage world. We are again. I'm still figuring out like where all the places it could fit it in, but
Yeah,
there's yeah. We've had a lot of implementation and conversations lately where there's things as I'm still hit or miss. I don't know if I want AI calling my clients. That's a big.
me too.
I don't know. Maybe in certain instances, just where it leverages the team to like funnel them back, maybe. But that's the big hump. I don't know. I'm not over that hump yet. But reviewing documents, that's why the heck not? Like we're looking into that
Right.
actively. Like why not leverage the LOA's time and let them go do what they do on the phones and sell and help the client, but
Yeah.
the back end's just taken care of. That makes total sense. No brainer there. Less human error on that, and even things as like minute as we've got AI on our phone systems where it listens to every call that takes place, and it literally gives them coaching tips on it based off of like I was able to kind of hopefully the mold's okay, but they did a mold off of my calls. And hey, this is like how a call, the flow of it should be. Here's the things to ask. And did you hit those highlight? I don't care how you got there in between, but you kind of hit the big things on different types of calls. Because I'm like, I can't, it's so difficult to train 10 people. You have a huge company. It's so tough to be on, you're never going to know all the things that were said.
Right. It's actually scary.
It actually, yeah, right. And even like I had Ring Central for a while, it would just like kind of do a little recap, kind of a transcribe. That's great. I don't no time in the day to read transcripts of calls, but the coaching scorecard is pretty cool. Where it'll just say, "Hey,
cool. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna write that down, Derek. The AI coaching calls.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you. But yeah,
that's cool. That would be helpful for me.
At a glance, you can see, and it literally grades the whole team. It gives you like a weekly recap or a live time. I can pop in. It's like this person's really good at overcoming objections. This person's kind of struggling at overcoming. This person like good, customer support, or like I was able to pick the grading scale of what things I wanted to watch, and then I could click on it and it'll elaborate on what they did well, so I could train hey, listen to so and so's calls. They're doing a good job on this. So that's why I think all of us like. Where it's still a human talking to the clients, but the human's being tweaked and coached, and like me as well. I told the team, I'm in this with you guys. I'm not just on you. I want to get tweaked and better. And so those.
Plus it takes out the offensive stuff. Like sometimes when you try to like say, hey, look, you kind of did that wrong, they become offensive right away and then they won't learn. As in this doesn't seem offensive.
No, it sends them a message on the side just to them. I can see all of it, but I don't go through it, whatever. But like so it's not in front of the team or anything like that. They just get a personal message from the AI deal that says, hey, you did a great job on these things. When the client said this, you could have responded with this. I'm like, that's it. That's where AI can be useful. Those types of things.
I love that. Love that. Hey, Derek, thanks for being on Coaching with Chris today. You inspire me. I'm just super proud of you of what you've accomplished in the short term. There's been originators been doing this a long time, and they haven't even been able to accomplish half of what you're doing. But the thing is, guys, Derek just does the work. He's disciplined. He thinks forward. He's willing to invest and build his team. And Derek, I just appreciate it. Keep the run growing, my friend. I can't wait to see what even next year looks like for you. You're going to kill it.
No, I definitely appreciate that. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for doing this for LOs. This is the cool part of this whole industry where you give us a platform to go and try to help others, and hats off to you. I mean, I know I saw you at the EPM event, for example. I thought that, just for what it's worth, I want to just give a shout out to that. That's super cool to see, because there's so many other industries or so many other mortgage companies that I don't want to go to that mortgage company's event. What the heck am I going to get out of that? Like that closed-minded thing. And you're up there like part of the event on a panel, like supporting it for the community, for everybody. And, everybody gets something out of that, so that's cool. Like that's what makes me, definitely respect the heck out of what you're doing.
Thank you, Derek. Guys, I want to leave you with a message as we're jumping off here. You always have a choice in choosing an AMC. Here's an amazing company that Windsor supports. They've been good to me. I know they'll be good to you. Check out this message. Thanks, Derek.
When we say arrives is a national company with a local presence. That's not just a quaint, cute saying. It actually means something.
The saying is what they offer, national coverage with local management, but it's also what they value and what makes them unique from any other appraisal management company out there.
Jane might be good at new builds, Bob might be better at historical properties, etc., etc. And you can only know that, going back to the people business, with relationships built on the ground by our area directors, specifically with the appraisers there on the local level.
Each area director, experienced appraisers themselves, knows the nuances of their area, enabling them to use the best appraiser for each assignment. But they say local insight alone isn't enough.
You need that protection, a national appraisal management company, somebody who knows what they're doing with the rules and the regulations and are making sure things are done good.
That's where the Arrive's unique national local model really shines.
Founder and CEO Brian Caffrey says they're not a one-package-fits-all company that spits out appraisals, and they don't want to be.
You're looking for something higher quality, someplace that is going to take care of your transaction, take care of your loan officers, take care of your borrowers, take care of your branches, brokers.
And they have the perspective to do that. Their client manager, Greg Renkenberger, has over 30 years experience in lending.
From a lender side, there's no better person than me to be with an appraisal management company, because I know what the lender's feeling. I know what they're experiencing. I know the anxieties.
That insight lets them provide clients with service they won't get anywhere else.
We look at Arrives as a concierge appraisal management company, so we have specific people designed to work directly with those clients and build those relationships.
It's more than just answering the phone, it's working together.
The borrower is satisfied and they get a good experience, not just a good value on the appraisal, but a good overall experience, good communication. Then they're going to come back, and they're going to come back to the lender, the realtor, and then to us.
More than just an appraisal management company, a partner.
They told me only time will tell what the market will actually do, but whatever that is, they'll be ready. To learn more about Arrives, you can visit them at arrives.com, or if your mortgage lender is already an Arrives partner, yours is, you can order your next appraisal through them and see the difference for yourself. In Mesa, Arizona, at the Arrives headquarters, I'm Allison Caffrey.